Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our culture unit for today. We're talking about the culture of Russia.
Yes.
A very large country that is both in Europe and Asia. And Russia, of course, is one of the largest countries in the world in terms of area, if not the largest country. I think it is actually the largest country in terms of area, but not population. But in any case, we do hear about Russia from time to time, and they've got some really wonderful traditions there. Not just vodka drinking, but they've got those balalaika kind of guitar-like instruments and Russian dancing. And what are those dolls?
Caviar. The little dolls that fold or lock into each other. You know,
there's a name for that. I can't think of it right offhand. But yeah, they've got all sorts of wonderful traditions there. But maybe you haven't heard of their steam bath tradition.
I haven't.
Of course, here in Taiwan, we've got the tradition of hot springs, going to places like Yangmingshan or Jiaoxi or whatever and soaking in a hot spring. So it's kind of similar, but in this particular tradition in Russia, you're not actually sitting in water, you are in steam. Okay, it's like a steam bath.
Oh, okay.
Which they have at gyms sometimes.
A sauna, yeah.
Sort of. But
yeah.
It's got a lot of steam too, so actually I'm not quite sure what the difference between a sauna and a steam bath.
Well, there are two types. There's one with steam, and then there's one's just hot. Just really, really hot. It's
kind of dry
heat.
Hot, yeah.
Yeah, I like the steam myself. Yep. I just looked up those dolls. The Russian dolls that are one within each, it gets from big to small. They're called Matryoshka. Matryoshka,
okay, there you go. You learn something new every day. But we probably would not suggest you take some Matryoshka into a steam bath because they're made out of wood and the moisture would probably warp the wood, probably make it soft. So don't take it in there. But please, when you are in Moscow or Rostock or Vladivostok or whatever, see what they got in terms of steam baths.
Cool.
So let's get to it, everybody. Let's read the entire contents of our article right now, and we will be right back.
Russia is one of the coldest countries on Earth. When the temperatures drop below zero, many Russians keep warm by visiting a banya. Banyas are indoor steam baths that have become an important part of Russian culture over the centuries. The tradition of banyas dates back to at least 440 BC. The famed Greek historian Herodotus must have visited a banya when he traveled to Scythia. He mentioned how the Scythians set up banyas in their tents to warm up, pouring water over hot stones to produce steam. As time went on, the tradition of banyas expanded. During the 18th century, banyas became so widespread that they even influenced Russia's Tsar Peter the Great's laws. He had to restrict banya usage because most banyas back then were small wooden shacks that caught fire easily. His new law stated that citizens could only use their home banyas 2 or 3 days per week in hopes of reducing the number of fires. Traditional banyas are known as black banyas. That's because originally, banyas did not include chimneys. So when a fire was started to heat up the stones, smoke from the flames would stain the ceiling and the walls black. Over time, banyas with chimneys appeared, which explains why modern banyas are called white banyas. Russians believed that visiting these bathhouses offered more benefits than just warming up. Going to a banya was also seen as a way to eliminate sickness. In fact, it was named the people's first doctor, ahead of vodka and garlic. Banyas were also considered to be good for the soul, as they helped rid the mind of negative emotions. That's why they were used in purification rituals before marriage and after childbirth. Today, banyas still serve a social purpose in Russia, as they are a great place to spend time with family and friends.
Okay, let's talk about Russia's steamiest tradition. In this title, we've got the word steamy, which is an adjective. If something has a lot of steam, it's steamy. And in the superlative form, the steamiest. So it's the steamiest tradition in Russia. I should remember to remind you that steamy means you have a lot of steam that comes from boiled water. It's not from burning something. That's smoke, but you get steam if you boil water.
Or
that's why,
even in the bathroom, after you take a shower, you know, your mirror is all fogged up with steam. Steam comes from that hot water.
Or your glasses get steamed up on a hot day. If you're inside and the air conditioning is really high and you walk outside, then your glasses get steamed up.
Wow.
But Russia here is one of the coldest countries on Earth. Yes, we always talk about Siberia as being really, really cold. So yes, indeed, Russia is a cold place. When the temperatures drop below zero, many Russians keep warm by visiting a banya. We got 0 degrees. It could be Celsius. It could be Fahrenheit. Either way, if the temperature is minus something, centigrade or Celsius or Fahrenheit, you know, it's pretty cold, okay? Like 20 degrees below zero. You often hear that reported in, say, Canada or North Dakota or places like that. So, yeah, if you're in Russia, gee, who wants to freeze like that, you know? They want to warm up, of course, and a lot of times I think Russians are heavy vodka drinkers, so maybe they drink a lot of vodka to warm up during the winter, or maybe just kind of makes them forget about being so cold. But actually, one way they keep warm up there is by visiting a banya. Okay, what is a banya? Well, banyas are indoor steam baths that have become an important part of Russian culture over the centuries. So it's an old tradition. It's been there for many, many years. And again, it's a steam bath where you go into a room and there's all sorts of steam in the air, maybe so much steam that you can't even see the other people in there.
This word banya, guys, is in italics. It's italicized the way that we've typed it. That means it's not an English word. It's actually a Russian word. If you look it up in the dictionary, you're going to have a hard time finding it in an English dictionary. So that's why it's in italics. Banyas are indoor steam baths, so that's what they are, and they've become an important part of Russian culture over the centuries. The tradition of banyas dates back to at least 440 BC or 440 BC. You could say it either way. If something dates back to, it just means that's when it first originated. That's when it was first invented or thought of. So it dates back a long time ago. So BC is before Christ. So it's a really old tradition that they have with these banyas.
Yeah, this is a term you could use in talking about Chinese culture. This tradition dates back to the Tang Dynasty, for example. It started back in the Tang Dynasty and continues to the present. So this particular tradition of the banya in Russia dates back to at least 440 BC. The famed Greek historian Herodotus must have visited a banya when he traveled to Scythia. Scythia is an old empire that I believe existed in the area north of the Black Sea. It's not there anymore, but that's what Russia is today. So he must have gone to a steam bath, a banya, when he went to Scythia a long time ago. He's a famed Greek historian. If you're famed, that means people know you. You're famous. And he is an historian who actually was able to write out stories about history, just like the Chinese historian, too. I can't think of the person's name right off hand, but this is the one in Greece, the historian called Herodotus.
I wanted to mention famed is a little bit more advanced than famous. So if our author had said the famous Greek historian, it's not quite as advanced level writing. So this sounds a little bit more, I was going to say gauji, but it's the famed Greek historian sounds a little bit more educated, I would say. But if we were speaking, we would probably say famous. Right. So this is just a way to make your writing a little more classy, a little more developed. So he would visit, we think that he actually visited a banya when he was traveling to Scythia. He mentioned in his writing how the Scythians, the people who live in Scythia, set up banyas in their tents to warm up. So this was their way of heating their homes, you could say. Their tents were their homes. And you'd want to definitely have something that was warm there because Russia is freezing in the winter. If you set something up, you establish it, you put it together, you install it, you could say. So they set up banyas in their tents to warm up, and they poured water over hot stones to produce the steam. That's how they did it. If you pour something, I would say you're usually dealing with liquid. For example, you might have a pitcher or a jug of water in your refrigerator to keep it cold, and you want to pour yourself a glass of water. It's just that liquid coming out of whatever container you're using. So they would pour water over hot stones, and that's where the steam would come from.
That's right. The water would boil and turn to gas, and you'd have steam there, and you could warm up.
Yep.
Now, as time went on, the tradition of banyas expanded. Okay, so maybe it was in a limited area there, north of the Black Sea or something like that. But hey, the tradition caught on. Other people heard about it, and they thought, hey, what a great way to warm up during the winter. We want to do that too. So this tradition expanded, and to expand basically just means to get bigger in all different directions.
Spread out.
Right? If you're starting a company, of course, you want to expand your operations to Asia and the rest of the world. You want to get bigger. And during the 18th century, banyas became so widespread, so common, that they even influenced Russia's Tsar Peter the Great's laws. So this is a czar. A czar, of course, in ancient Russia was like an emperor there, basically.
Yep.
And he was in charge there, and he knew these banyas were around, and he thought, I guess I need to come up with some laws concerning these banyas. Maybe he was going to tax them or something to get some money, or maybe they were kind of dangerous, and he wanted laws to help protect people from getting hurt, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he thought they were a little bit dangerous. We're going to find out why. So he was really influential on changing some of the laws that restricted banya usage. So if you restrict something, you put a limit on it. You say, no, you can't do more than this. He wanted people who are using the banyas to not use them so much. So usage just means how much something is actually being used. Electric usage during the summer here in Taiwan, electricity usage, I should say, is really high, especially in my apartment because I have my AC on, air conditioner.
Nobody wants to be really hot during the summer months, so electricity usage is quite high during the summer, and we should limit our water usage during times of drought, for example. And, of course, he restricted usage of banyas because back then they were small wooden shacks, like a small kind of hut, a small house or something that caught fire easily. So, yes, he was trying to protect people there. I guess there were too many fires and people getting killed in fires. So he tried to enact laws to protect those people. We'll talk some more about this in just a couple of seconds, but right now we're going to take a break and listen to our Chinese teacher.
Hello everyone, my name is Tina. 我们今天要介绍的主题是俄罗斯的浴场 Banya. 首先来看到第一个空格 When the blank one drop below zero, many Russians keep warm by visiting a banya. 什么时候会想要去俄罗斯浴场来保持温暖呢？当然是当气温降到0度之下。搭配文意，第一题可以选择 J 选项 temperatures 指的就是气温温度。那么呢，在这样子的俄罗斯浴场他们是怎么操作的？在第二个空格后半句提到 pouring water over hot stones to blank to steam. 他们会把这个把水呢浇在很热的石头上来怎么样蒸汽。在 to 的后面可以搭配动词，我们可以选择 C 选项的 produce 有产生制造，这样一来呢在浴场里面满满的都是蒸汽。第三个空格在这里提到 During the 18th century, banyas became so blank 3 that they even influenced Russia's Tsar Peter the Great's laws. 提到呢，俄罗斯的浴场是如此的怎么样，甚至影响到了俄罗斯大帝他的法律。 我们来看一下 became 后面可以接一个形容词，我们可以选择 A 选项的 widespread， 也就是普遍的、广泛的，太受欢迎了，如此的普遍以至于影响到了法律的这个编写。再怎么说呢？后面继续提到 He had to blank for banya usage because most banyas back then were small wooden shacks that caught fire easily. 他必须呢要来限制这个浴场的使用，因为当时很多的浴场都是木造的，很容易呢就会失火。所以呢第4题我们可以选择 D 选项 restrict， 有限制的意思。第3个跟第4个我们要一起看，因为太普遍了，所以呢要法律也因此受到影响，因此要限制浴场的使用。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. We're talking about Russia's steamiest tradition, which is the banya. A banya is an indoor steam bath, and it dates back to at least, and it could be even before this date, but this is where we have written record of these existing, and that's 440 BC or 440 BC. And we have those records because a Greek historian, Herodotus, he was the one who actually went to Scythia and saw them. He mentioned how the Scythians would set up these banyas in their tents to keep warm. That steam would make their homes much warmer than they were. And the way they would do it is they would pour water over hot stones. And if you do that, if you've ever done it in class, maybe in chemistry class, you know it produces steam. So as time went on, the tradition expanded. And during the 18th century, which is the 1700s, banyas became so widespread that they even influenced Russia's Tsar Peter the Great to come up with a new law to restrict usage to protect his people. Because back then, they were in these very small wooden shack, and a shack's like a roughly built hut or cabin. They were catching fire easily, which was terrible.
And his new law stated that citizens could only use their home banyas 2 or 3 days per week in hopes of reducing the number of fires. So maybe they were using them every day, and he thought that if he reduced the number of times the people used the banyas at home, that this would also reduce the number of fires that were happening. So I guess he was trying to make sense. He was trying to help them out. I guess they had public banyas and private ones at home. He was doing this in hopes of reducing the number of fires. So this phrase, in hopes of, means he had this hope. This was the desired result.
Yeah, you could also say his new law stated that citizens could only use their home banyas 2 or 3 days per week, hoping to reduce the number of fires. So you can use in hopes of. If you use hoping, then you have to change hoping to reduce. Yeah, fun grammar. Now, in the next paragraph, it says traditional banyas are known as black banyas. Now, if you're reducing the number of fires, you're making that number of fires lower. So he wanted to make sure people were safer. Now, why did they call the traditional banyas black? Because originally, when they were first invented, first developed, banyas did not include something called a chimney. I don't see a lot of chimneys in Taiwan because a lot of people don't have fireplaces. But chimneys are a long pipe. It's kind of circular in shape, and it comes up from a fireplace, and it directs smoke out of your house or out of a place of business. So they didn't have chimneys, so where does all that smoke go? Yeah, it stays inside the house.
Well, you could suffocate then,
Totally.
But originally that's what happened. Originally means at the beginning, when this thing started, they did not have those chimneys. This kind of sounds similar to some temples in Taiwan where they're really old and they've been burning incense inside the temples for so many years. So you have these big black spots on the ceilings.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to that, to think of it that way. So these were black banyas because of that, because they did not have chimneys. and so the smoke could not escape. Of course, if you've got flames, that means the fire is there, and the flames are actually the parts of the fire that kind of lick up into the air, and so the smoke from the flames would stain the ceiling and the walls black. Hence the name Black Banyas.
Yeah, that's where they get the name from that smoke that would stain or discolor the ceiling. So over time, banyas with chimneys appeared, which explains why, hey, the modern ones are called white banyas because guess what? The smoke is being directed outside. It doesn't stay within that house or tent or wherever it's built. So in the last paragraph, it says that Russians believe that visiting these bathhouses offered more benefits than just warming up. When I read this, Tom, I immediately thought of the hot springs here in Taiwan.
Me too.
Yeah, because they're nice in the winter. It makes you feel warm. But a lot of people believe that the water in the hot springs is really good for your body. So,
especially your skin. Yeah, people go there to make their skin feel softer and more supple and stuff like that. And also, it's possible that they cure or help out with some diseases. So yes, these people would go to these bathhouses, which I guess is like a banya, a place to have a steam bath. And there were other benefits besides just getting warm during the cold Siberian winters. Going to a banya was also seen as a way to eliminate or get rid of sickness. And in fact, it was named the people's first doctor, ahead of vodka and garlic. Wow. So I guess even the Russians thought that, hey, if you're kind of sick, don't pull out that bottle of Stolichnia just yet.
Stolichnia, what's that?
That's a brand of vodka in Russia.
Okay.
At least it was a while ago. I don't know if it's still around. But in any case, don't grab the bottle of vodka. Don't eat garlic just yet. Hey, head down to your local banya and have a steam bath. That might be just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, I'm guessing this people's first doctor is a Russian word that means the same thing. So, yeah, I didn't know vodka could help you if you're sick. I guess it could make you so drunk you'd forget that you didn't feel well. But garlic is definitely great for colds or cold prevention. Make sure you take your garlic. Eat your garlic. So banyas were also considered to be good for the soul. That's your spirit inside. It has nothing to do with your physical well-being. It's how you feel inside. Because they helped rid the mind of negative emotions. Here we're using the word as they helped. You could also say because they helped. Rid means to get rid of. Maybe you want to get rid of some old clothes. So you go through your closet, pick out the things you don't want, give them away. So to rid something of something else just means you no longer have it around. You want to be free of that thing. So they wanted to make their minds give up or let go of negative emotions because you want to bring positive feelings and positive thoughts into your life so you feel happy.
Exactly. So yes, get rid of those negative emotions. Yeah. So it's kind of psychological. It's good for the soul. I bet you get to socialize with other people and stuff like that, and that makes you feel better. And that's why they were used in purification rituals before marriage and after childbirth. So yes, indeed, if you got married in Russia at one time, they said, okay, you got to go to a steam bath for a purification ritual before you tie the knot, before you exchange your vows. And so, yes, this was all about purification, which means making something pure or perfect. Get rid of all those bad elements and become a perfect 100% pure soul or human being prepared for marriage. And a ritual, of course, is something you do in a culture. There are different kinds of rituals for different religions, for example, or for different cultures. A bar mitzvah for Jewish boys is a famous Jewish ritual, becoming a man, basically.
Right. It kind of reminds me, though, of some of the things they do here in Taiwan. When someone has a baby, she doesn't go out of the house for a while, doesn't wash her hair. Those seem to be purification rituals as well. Now, today, banyas still serve or act as a social purpose in Russia. Why? Because people like to go to those bathhouses and hang out. It's a social thing. It's a social activity. It's a great place to spend time with your family and friends. So if you get a chance to go to Russia, I would definitely check out the bathhouse.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation. Here comes our Chinese teacher again.
接着我们来看到第5个空格 His new law stated that blank 5 could only use their home banyas 2 or 3 days per week. 在这里提到他新的法律里面呢，就说明了怎么样每周只能使用自家的浴澡堂2到3日，那么法律的对象就是这些公民只能在家里面使用1周2到3次，所以第5题搭配文意，我们可以选择 H 选项的 citizens， 代表着就是公民的意思。第6个空格我们来看到后半句 Smoke from the flames would blank 6 the ceiling and the walls black. 虽然呢我们现在叫做白俄罗斯浴场，不过以前呢是相当黑的，因为呢当这个生火加热石头的时候呢，这个来自于火的 smoke 它就会把天花板跟墙壁呢把它弄脏成黑色，所以第6题放在 would 后面加原形动词 G 选项的 stain， 也就是有沾污或弄脏的意思。第7个空格 Russians believed that visiting these bathhouses offered more blank 7 than just warming up. 他们呢认为到访这样子的澡堂提供的是更多的怎么样，比起只是暖身而已。那么搭配文意，第7题我们需要一个名词 B 选项的 benefits， 它的好处不是只有让身子暖和起来哦。后面继续提到 Going to a banya was also seen as a way to blank aid sickness. 它的好处呢，那么去到澡堂也被视为是一种怎么样的方式来怎么样疾病呢？当然是想要消除除去疾病的一种好方式。所以第8题我们可以选择 I 选项的 eliminate， 也就是有消除除去的意思。第9个空格后半句提到 As they helped rid the mind of blank 9 emotions， 除了让身子暖和去除疾病，还有一个好方式就可以让你的心灵怎么样的情绪。当然我们希望把负面的情绪都把它去除掉，所以第9题可以选择 F 选项的 negative， 在这里就是有负面的意思。第10个空格 Today, banyas still serve a and blank 10 purpose in Russia. 到了今天呢，这个澡堂呢，在俄罗斯也有一个怎么样子的功能跟作用。在后面提到可以跟家人跟朋友呢是一个很好的绝佳去处，所以就是有着社交的功能跟作用。所以第10题我们就可以选择 E 选项 social， 就代表着社交的意思。 OK， 以上就是今天的课文讲解，谢谢收听。
That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And please, if you head to Russia during the winter, make sure you check out a banya. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
See ya.